You're listening to the Visionary Lifestyle Podcast, the show that's dedicated to raising consciousness and empowering you to activate your highest potential. I'm your host, Magda Freedom Rod. Greetings, beloved Rainbow Warriors. Namaste. It's me, Magdalena Freedom Rod, coming to you today from beautiful Ojai, California. And today marks the celebration of two important events that I want to make sure you're aware of. In the Northern Hemisphere, it is the summer solstice, the beginning of summer, which means in the Southern Hemisphere, it's winter solstice, the beginning of winter. So what that means is in the Southern Hemisphere, each day from here on out will be more and more light. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, today is the day of the year that holds the most light. It's the longest day of the year, which is why today was selected to be the International Day of Yoga. So this is the fourth International Day of Yoga we're celebrating this year after the UN, not unanimously, but a huge portion of the UN voted for this to be an International Day of Yoga. This is a big deal, folks. The world is recognizing the value of yoga. So I hope that you have a solid practice, that you are practicing regularly, that you have a daily sadhana, and you're not looking at yoga as just, the class you go to on Thursday. That yoga really, truly is a lifestyle. And in my view, in my opinion, it is the way, it is the path that can lead to personal and planetary wellness, well-being, happiness, and sustainability. So obviously, I'm a huge fan of yoga, which is why I started this podcast, to be able to have this conversation. So I would love to hear from you. What are you doing to celebrate the International Day of Yoga? So now moving on to today's show. Our guest today is Soma Temple. Soma is a 35-year resident of the powerful and holy island of Bali, and she is one of Bali's sacred goddesses, both with her unbreakable faith and her determination to fill the world with love. A dedicated pioneer of the Rudraksha movement and one of the founders of the world's new appreciation for Mullahs. An incredible mother, friend, and mentor, Soma is a warrior of the light in every sense of the words. Soma Temple is the Priestess of Rudraksha Beads with a special story about how she became so. In this interview, she tells her story and she explains the purpose of malas and how to use them, as well as the significance of that sacred number 108. Join me in Soma's sacred puja space in her home in Bali for an intimate discussion about these sacred subjects. You can find Soma's business online at omrudraksha.com. That's AUMRUDRAKSHA, omrudraksha.com. Thanks for listening, enjoy, and namaste. Soma Temple, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Thank you. It's a blessing to be here in your sacred space. Thank you for inviting me to your home, and it's a real blessing to be here in your puja space, and it feels very sacred, and thank you for that honor. I am so delighted to meet you and to learn more about your business. As you know, and I mentioned, I just am coming from 3 months in India and have had some very interesting and I feel this call to the Rudraksha bead, and I feel very connected to it, and I really want to learn more about it, and this is your world, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to get into Rudraksha and the significance of it and your story about bringing it to the West. And also we could get into a bit about what malas are and why they're important, and japa meditation, and help people understand this really important tool that they can very easily integrate into their lives to help lift their consciousness, and ideally that leads to making the world a better place, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rudraksha, let's start there. What's the significance of the Rudraksha bead, and why is that what your main focus is?
I feel it's important to tell the story first because it'll lead into the Rudrakshas, if that's
Sure.
okay. Yeah.
Sure.
My teacher in India was Punjaji, or as we lovingly referred to him as Papaji. And he was in Lucknow. And I had spent many years with him on and off, coming back and forth. And one day he called me into he told everybody, go find Soma, go find Soma. They found me, I came and I met with him privately, and he said, your mission in this life and your dharma is to spread Rudraksha beads to the West. He said the Rudraksha beads have been kept sacred in India for a really long time, and it's not the time anymore. He said the West is in chaos, the West needs them, and he said it's your job to spread them to the West. He said you live in the place where you're closest to the best quality Rudraksha beads in the world. He said, I want you to find them and I want you to make them and spread them to the West. He said, if everyone in the world was wearing Rudraksha beads, the world would be at peace. So I took a couple of deep breaths and went, wow, these hippie sadhu beads I'm supposed to bring to the West. I have 3 children in private schools and things, but of course I was like, yes, Papaji, I will do my best and I will try. And I looked for them, and finally it started as a hobby. And I started making them, and I had this vision, and I realized when he told me that I had been wearing Rudraksha beads since I was 18 years old and didn't know what they were. But I was very attracted to them as a young girl, and I always played with beads. So I'd grab I had always mixed them with stones. So I had this idea, maybe I can entice the Western mind to wear them if I make them really pretty and mix them with stones and different things. So this is how the journey started with Rudraksha beads. And I learned a lot about the Rudraksha beads with Papaji, and he explained a lot to me about their properties. They have many, many properties. They truly are the gem of beads. I think one of the main things, like crystals, stones, they have lots of energy with them, but they're not sustainable. Once they are harvested out of the ground, it takes Mother Earth millions of years to remake that stone and that crystal. And they are gifts to us. But the Rudraksha beads, they grow on trees. So they're very sustainable. So that makes me very happy, as the planet is also in crisis with sustainability and how we take so much out of her Mother Earth. The Rudraksha beads have many, many qualities, from medicinally, spiritually, and also scientifically. So medicinally, they are cooling to the body, they regulate the heart, they lower your blood pressure.
Whoa.
Yeah, sometimes if I have too many on, I have to take some off because I already naturally have low blood pressure and it gets super low.
Wow.
So it's a great healing tool. And a lot of the medicinal qualities of the Rudraksha beads have almost been lost. But slowly, there's people bringing it back. And it's interesting that there's been a few books starting to be written about it. Another thing, that they're really good for diabetes, they're really good for circulation of the blood. You can put the beads in water, leave them for 24 hours and drink the water. It's really good for the stomach, it's good for the heart, it's good for the lungs. It has many, many medicinal qualities that I'm still exploring, and it fascinates me a lot.
Wow.
They also say it takes wrinkles away. If you smash up 8 mukhi, which are different faces of the Rudraksha beads, and mix it with rose water and put it on your face. I obviously haven't tried it, but it's not true. I have tried it, and it's wonderful, actually. You can feel it. It takes the toxins out. So it has many, many properties. Spiritually, it's known to be the most beneficial aid to meditation and to quieting the mind. That from my own experience and just watching people around me wearing them, the more that they wear Rudraksha beads, the more peaceful they become. That sometimes those moments of struggle a little bit, when we hit those rocks in our path, you tend to reach up and grab your beads, and they just give you this sense of peace. They are very good for quieting the mind. And also then japa with them is, something that I love to do a lot. And you can activate your Rudraksha beads. The main mantra for activating them is Om Shri Namah Shivaya. Om Shri Namah Shivaya. And it's Om Hrim. Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. Om Hrim Namah Shivaya. Or you can just do Om Namah Shivaya on it. And to do japa, you just hold them in your hand, and through each bead you say one mantra on each bead. Something that I like to do that is, I think, been very beneficial for the Western world is sometimes you wake up or you hear bad news and you're struggling in the day to find that peace inside you. That I take them and I say something I'm grateful for on each bead. By the time you say 108 times something you're grateful for, you're usually in a very good mood.
Focusing on gratitude tends to turn things around.
Exactly. So I think that's a real simple way that, because Om Namah Shivaya is primarily a Hindu mantra. And the thing that Papaji told me about spreading the Rudraksha beads to the West was, it doesn't matter what religion you are, what sex you are, what creed you are, what you eat, none of this matters anymore. He said, this is Kali Yuga. This is the time where we need these tools in our life and spread them to the West. It's not the time to keep them in the hands of the holy men in India. That it's really time for the whole world to be wearing them. So that's my mission, is to just spread them throughout the whole world. And so I have many ambassadors and distributors around the world spreading the word and spreading the Rudrakshas. We gift a lot of them. We also, here in Bali, all the high priests, the Padandas, when they do their major ceremonies, they all wear Rudraksha beads. But they had forgotten what they were, and they were just being passed down from their ancestors. And they were really dark in color because they'd been passed down from generation and generation. And then I met Rataparanda Marigunung, who was the head priest of all of Indonesia. And he asked me if I could make the Rudraksha beads for him for his ceremonial malas. They were 9 malas of 108 beads. And generally, traditionally, it's 1 Rudraksha, 1 crystal, 1 Rudraksha, 1 crystal. And they have every 9 and 12 beads, they have a different bead. So it's either 9 every 9th bead, so it makes 12, or it's every 12 bead and it makes times 9 is 108. So I made them for him, and all the other Pradhanas were like, wow, those have really strong power. Where did you get them? And so one of the things we do also is we brought them back into the Balinese life. We gift almost every Balinese that asks for a mala, we gift them to them. We gift them to all the priests, mankus, any priest in Bali that wants a mala, they are gifted the mala. And then if they keep coming back, we give them a very, very low price, like cost price, to spread them throughout the Balinese. And now you see them almost everywhere in Bali. And when I came here, nobody knew what they were when I first started doing it. So I feel like, okay, I'm spreading it, and then those people spread it more, and it's starting to hit, and I see them wherever I go all over the world, and it just is like, yes,
mission accomplished.
Yes, so I'm really happy about that.
Beautiful. I love the story of Papaji electing you to be the one. And when he said you're living close to the best source, was that Bali or was that somewhere in India? Java. Oh, yeah. Indonesia. Okay.
Yeah. And mainly the Indonesians didn't realize this, and they shipped them all to India. The Indians knew this. And I used to buy them before I started doing this business. I started buying them in India, but when they would ask me, do you want the best quality? They're from Indonesia. And I was like, And then Papaji told me this, so I knew already that the best quality ones were here, but it took me almost 8 years to find them. And now they're everywhere. Also the Indonesians have learned that there's a market for them, so they're in the marketplace now, which is great.
Right.
It's like they're access for everybody.
Mm-hmm. So you're sourcing now. Are you growing them also with
Yes.
the company? Okay.
Yes.
So you've got a Rudraksha forest somewhere?
Yes.
Where is that?
In Munduk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's just starting. It takes 8 to 10 years, 6 to 10 years for the seeds to come.
Mm-hmm.
6 years into it, we were getting a few seeds. Now we're getting full-on harvest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's beautiful. We have to see the trees. And Amma, the hugging guru, Amma,
Yes.
she said at one point, she comes and she buys Rudraksha trees from me. I have some downstairs that are going back to India for her.
Wow.
Because she also thinks the best quality ones are from here. So I've sent them to her ashram before.
Yeah.
And she sent a few emissaries here to get the Rudraksha trees from me.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a big circle that's going on from
Yeah.
all over the world.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I spent 3 weeks at her ashram this
Beautiful.
year. Right, the first 3 weeks of the year,
Yeah.
I was there for New Year's Eve and got my hugs in and all
Nice.
that. That's beautiful, that connection as well.
She made the comment that there is like a rishi living in each Rudraksha tree, like an ancient spirit that's guarding the planet. And she said the more we put them in sacred places,
Oh.
that it's protecting the planet. So I've gone all over Bali to many of the temples here and planted Rudraksha trees in the
Oh.
temples here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's another good thing to know. Do they grow? Do you think we can grow them in the United States?
Yes.
I mean, they're quite an easy to grow tree, right?
They
Or-
could grow in like Florida, places where it doesn't freeze.
Okay.
They don't like to be frozen. There's quite a few trees in Hawaii.
Hmm.
It's interesting though, they say that like the ones from Hawaii, they grow in Australia quite commonly in like Byron Bay area. You see them a lot. They also do grow in Bali. I come across them every once in a while here in my wandering through places. All of a sudden I see the tree and I see the beads because they're a bright blue bead.
Oh.
And inside each round fruit, it's a fruit actually, and it's bright blue.
Oh, wow.
And inside each round fruit is one seed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So they grow as this blue fruit. How big is the fruit? Well, I guess it depends,
It
right?
depends on the size of the beads.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, they're about this size, like the size of a quarter,
Uh-huh.
maybe a little bit smaller,
And
down to the size of like a dime.
okay. And the
Yeah.
fruit is edible.
The fruit is edible. That it has tremendous medicinal
I
qualities.
would imagine.
I don't have really, I'm exploring it and eating them when I find them, and from our trees, the skin is very thin and it's a little bit like orange peel in a way, but it doesn't have much taste. I've seen it preserved. The man that I knew that had the most knowledge of this died before I could get much information from him. So I'm still gathering and exploring a little bit myself with him, but I don't have much experience to speak about it. But it's they have huge beneficial medicinal qualities to them.
I would imagine so. That's really interesting. I had no idea about that, and I'm such a foodie as well. I also teach conscious eating, which we haven't talked about, but that really sparks my interest. I feel like it'd be cool for somebody to take that on, really, and maybe it's another division of what you're doing, right? Another
Here, maybe
chapter.
someone else picks that part up, We need help. I can't do the whole thing, the whole world by myself, so.
Maybe I can help. Let's
Okay,
see.
good.
Let's see.
I'm not a foodie, so
Yeah.
I
would love to take
But
that
I like
on
medicine,
and
yeah.
learn more about that, medicinal foods, and with the Rudraksha, I mean, just all this sacred energy that's already inherent in it. It just seems like that's an opportunity to explore as well. You got my wheels turning with that one.
Great.
Thank you.
Nice.
So they are said to be sacred because why? What is it that makes them sacred?
Well, the legend is that Lord Shiva was meditating, and when he opened his eyes and saw the suffering of humanity and humankind, he cried tears of compassion. And where his tears fell, the Rudraksha trees grew. And so they are considered sacred because of his gift to us to remind us of the divinity within us. that we are not just human beings, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes.
And so they're scientifically, they have many qualities also that the scientists recognize. They have a lot of oxygen, 30% oxygen inside of them. They have nitrogen, they have hydrogen, and also carbon. I think they might even be 50% oxygen. I have to check on this again. But a lot of oxygen. So you're literally carrying around little sacks of oxygen, and when you wear them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing also. And they've just been known as they're the oldest prayer bead in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
And they were originally the original prayer bead that people would meditate on. And also because they're porous, they absorb your own oils.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you wear them, the stronger they become.
Mm.
And they become more aligned with you, and they really help you to protect you. They're a very protective bead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's just the qualities of them, and people resonate with them. I've seen people, when we put them on them, just immediately go, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And they really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And people, once they start wearing them, they feel naked without them.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah.
I had one custom made for me in Rishikesh right before I left with the chakra stones and everything, and it broke at Bali Spirit Festival, and I really miss it.
Yeah.
I need to find the right. I lost 3 of the stones, unfortunately. And
Well, you can give it to me and we'll fix it for you.
I stopped at your booth and they didn't have the same stones that I had for the crystals, for the garnet and the citrine. They didn't have the same exact one. So
Not with them, but we do in my office. I go there on Thursday, so.
Okay. Oh, I should have brought it. Didn't think about it.
Well, maybe you can give it to him when he drops you off or something.
Thank you. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to fix it for you.
Oh, thank you. I'm really missing it.
I will also gift you one. So.
Oh, that's very kind. It's sitting on my altar right now, and I'm just like looking at it every day going, I miss you and I want to wear you. But
what I've been told, and actually my son questioned me on this the other day, so I hesitate to say it, but I will say it anyway. That I always believed in my own experience when they broke is that they took something, the brunt of the situation, rather than it hitting me so hard.
Mm-hmm.
That they protect you.
Mm.
And so when they break, if something was coming at you, that they deflected it. And I always think it's a blessing when they break.
Yeah.
And that's why in our company, we fix them for free for a lifetime of the beads.
Mm-hmm.
They're our Mullahs, they're fixed for free, and actually even we fix everybody else's Rudraksha beads also for free, even if they didn't come from us.
Mm-hmm.
Generally we ask for, sometimes when it's sent overseas, to mail them.
Mm-hmm.
We ask for the postage, but yeah, it's something that we love to do. We love to fix everyone's Mullahs.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone gets really attached to them.
Yeah.
And they have your oils and your energy in them. And so I think it's really important that we fix them.
Yeah.
Some people have mixed opinions about that. They think once they break, you should throw them away. But that's not my opinion after working with them for 25 years, actually.
Yeah, actually, I was told a similar thing by another bead supplier that I met just after it happened, and they told me the same thing. They said there was some danger around you; it was protecting you from. So I was really grateful to hear that, because it was such a good reframe. Because I was like, why is my really beautiful thing that I just custom made breaking? That it was a little heartbreaking. Yeah. So it was a great reframe to be like, oh wow, it was protecting me. Okay, we'll go with that. That feels better, So. Yeah, well, thank you. I would love to get it repaired and be wearing it again. And I learned when I was having it made that there are a variation in the number of faces on the beads, right? And most of them are 5 face, right? 5 faces. And that I got a couple of the special 7 face ones, which are supposedly Lakshmi, right? And then they go all the way up to how many?
The biggest that I've seen is 24.
Whoa.
And I have one, 24 Mukhi. I have also collected from 1 to 24 for Amma Karuna, is another woman saint in India. That she wanted them, and one of her devotees kept asking me, and it took us maybe 2 years to collect them all. But yes, I do have them, and I do deal with them a little bit. I don't want to do it in a commercial basis with the mukis because they're quite powerful. So sometimes I put a 7 muki is a common one that people like. Also 8 muki is Ganesha. They go 1 muki is really to protect your home, your life, and so I usually have one in my puja room. And also in my office, I have a 1 muki on the altar there. So they have from 1 to 24, and each one is represented by a different god or goddess. And number 5 is the most common, and that represents Lord Shiva.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're quite valuable on a financial
level, they
right?
can be up to, I get them directly from the plantations and the farmers, and they can be a few $1,000s for 1 bead in the higher mukis.
Right.
Yeah. And more. The Chinese have been involved a little bit recently. They're recognizing the power of them, and they're trying to buy them all up. But a lot of the Rudraksha suppliers are not very happy about it. So they're kind of starting to deny them this, and they've raised the price, made the price go up so ridiculously high that everyone is like, wow, and so that's why I just kind of stepped back. I have a collection, and certain like holy people and teachers that I really kind of respect want them. I can generally find them and get them. And people, they seem to like to give them to me. They know that I have tremendous respect, that I'm just not trying to make money off of it.
Right.
And I don't make money off them usually. I usually just gift them for what I paid for them. It's like I feel like I just am a conduit and a channel for those beads, that I have access to them.
Yeah,
but I don't use them
and
commercially.
Yeah, that makes sense. That feels in alignment with your character that I'm so clearly witnessing right now. I'd like to talk a bit more about malas in general, and just go even deeper into japa meditation for people that are maybe new to the yogic path, and they show up at a yoga class and they see all these yogis wearing these bead necklaces, right? So I think there's plenty of people even in the yoga community that don't even know what malas are and what their purpose is. So can you talk about that a bit?
Sure. A mala basically is 108 beads with a guru bead. And traditionally it's strung on red thread. It doesn't necessarily have to be red thread, but that's traditional. And it's usually knotted in between each bead. So it's easier when you're holding them to find the next bead. If it's not, in the Buddhist tradition, they're not knotted, but the string is longer than the mala so that you can move them. And so 108 has very significant meanings in most spiritual worlds, and also in almost every tradition. It's 9 times 12 is 108. 9 is a very spiritual number in almost any indigenous tribe and in many cultures around the world. Also the number 12. So 9 times 12 is 108. Generally, there's often markers on a mala. So every 9th bead or every 12th bead, depending on your tradition and how you want it. I've noticed that it varies. With the Balinese and the high priest for their malas, it's 11 Rudrakshas, and then it's a crystal, and 11, and then so the 12th bead is the counter stone when they're doing japa. A Japa Mala, you keep it in your altar. You can also wear it. Often, traditionally, Japa Malas are kept just for japa. And they're usually a little bit bigger bead because it's easier. And they do mantras on them, and depending on what tradition, what you want, generally for Rudraksha beads, to activate them, it's Om Hrim Namah Shivaya, Om Hrim Namah Shivaya on each bead. And then when you come to the bottom, there's 108 beads, and at the bottom is a Guru bead. The Guru bead represents all of our teachers, our gurus, those who have pointed us to the truth, to just stop for a minute and say thank you. And then you continue on doing the japa, depending on how many times you want to go around your mala. And I've heard different things. Some people, they go in one direction, they hit the guru bead, and they go back the opposite direction. I was taught to go in one direction. So that's usually what I do, is I just keep going around, hit the Guru beads, say thank you to all my teachers and those who have come before me, showing me the way and showing us who we really are. So a mala is just to kind of remind us of the divinity of who we are. And the 108 beads also has an unbelievable amount of meanings to it. The diameter of the sun is 108 times the diameter of the earth. The distance between like the earth and the sun and the moon is 108. There's so many different meanings to 108. Also, they say that in the chakras there's 108 lines that gather into the heart. And it's 108 lines in the heart for the heart chakra that are also, again, 108. Also in the Sri Yantra chakra, you might have noticed where all the intersecting lines, where 3 intersecting lines come together, are called marmas. And there's 54 of them. And each one of those is male and female, Shiva and Shakti. 54 times 2 is 108. Again, in the Sanskrit language, there's 54 letters. And they also have male and female in each letter. So again, 54 times 2 is 108. It's endless. You can Google it. It is 108. The Ganges also is 108. The Lange, I can't remember exactly, so I don't want to misquote it. But something with the Ganga River. It has to do with 108 also. It's quite phenomenal when you start to read it. It gets quite scientific and quite in-depth, this 108 number. So it's also the Harshad number. Harshad means where the digits of the number, when added up, divide into itself. So 108, 1 plus 8 is 9, 9 into 108 is 12. It's
a lot of significance.
A lot of significance. So most malas generally. There's also in the Christian and the Muslim religion, they have malas also. They're called tasbehs in the Muslim. They're 99 beads. And also in the rosaries have 99 plus these other beads that they add on to it. So it's kind of interesting that they have 99. It's 33 and 33 and 33 in the Muslim tradition.
Yeah.
We also make them because we live in the largest Muslim country in the world, Indonesia. So we make a lot of tasbehs also with Rudrakshas. I like mixing that together. It's like crossing the cultures somehow.
Right.
It's
good plan.
Yeah.
That's unity. That's yoga.
Exactly.
Right there.
Exactly.
True yogi at work here, doing the business of yoga through the unity. That's beautiful. I love that. Okay, anything else that you think is important for people to know about Rudraksha or malas or spirituality or what the world according to Soma Temple? I feel you carry so much wisdom.
Well, the main thing I feel about the Rudraksha beads is that it's a point in time where all the traditions, all the taboos, all the limitations are not valid anymore, that we have to just be courageous and follow really the gifts and the intuition that we have. Like for Rudraksha beads in particular, in many places in India, women weren't allowed to wear them until they were through menopause. Papaji actually put his fist down on the table and he said, it's not the time anymore. We have to break through some of these traditions and really become to help save the planet and ourselves and to find that divinity within each one of us. And what I would suggest to everyone is the really simple way is be as simple as possible in your life and just find out who you are. That's all you need. The rest unfolds by itself. Wearing Rudraksha beads also helps find out who you are. So it's not that I'm trying to promote my business. Right. It's that I really, truly have seen the power of them in my children's life, in people, all my staff, the people that work for us. That some of them have had such chaotic and struggle in their lives, and I've seen each one of them become at peace and really grow on such an amazing level that I just witness it over and over and over, that really Rudraksha beads really truly do bring peace into your life. And so I recommend everyone to wear them. And one of my things that I've been saying is that I didn't mean to start a brand. I meant to start a movement. And we've done that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for showing up in the world as you do, Soma. It's such a pleasure to spend this time with you. Thank you.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.
Thanks so much for answering the call to be here today. I'm so glad you're part of our tribe of activated rainbow warriors. If you found the show in any way empowering or inspiring, I would be so grateful if you would share the show on social media or with friends and family that you think would benefit from these conversations. And also, rate and review the show in iTunes. This is really the very best way to help support the show and help us get noticed by others who are looking for the sort of content that we're sharing. Now notice there are no outside ads playing here. That's because the show is supported by you, the listener. You can become a patron of the show with a small monthly donation by checking out the perks on our Patreon page at patreon.com/visionary lifestyle and signing up there. There's also a one-time donation button on the podcast page of the website if that suits you better. And just so you know, your donations help to cover the necessary out-of-pocket monthly expenses to produce the show and will also help us grow so we can inspire and educate even more people. And hey tribe, I'd love to hear from you. Visit me at visionary-lifestyle.com and please tell me your comments and questions. I really look forward to connecting with you. I love you. Namaste.